Hello, everybody. I hope you can hear my voice. Now I need to check a few settings before I go because there is some now I think it's better because I had the sound coming into my AirPods and that was a bit distracting when it's a bit late and I can hear myself speaking. So that was a problem. Can you hear me? Loud and clear. That's good. And let's see who's here and where you guys from. Yes, Tony Alford is from, and this is the hardest thing to pronounce his place where he lives. Worcestershire, UK. I don't know how that is. Then we have Sebastiano, an Italian living in Hampshire, UK. William Hanston is from Bornholm. Then we have Range Rider in North Carolina. Lil Nodal from Stella, Washington. Anne Kasurinen, Kuopio. And Richard Priestley from Shropshire, UK. And Robin Wong is in the house. Hi there, how you doing, Robin? Kopia Peng from Malaysia. Thank you so much. I don't know what I used, but probably YouTube will transfer them to euro so I can get a cup of coffee. Thanks, Robin, for that. Hearing okay. San Francisco. So we have people all over the world. I think the east is Robin at the moment. No one from Australia yet, and the west is San Francisco. So that's quite a big distance between the furthest. Oh, Robin is just dropping by and saying hi. It's 2 a.m. here. Have to sleep soon. So sorry. Well, if it's 2 a.m., you should go to bed and so that you have energy to make some more great content. And yes, let's first look about the assignment and the themes. What is going on was the most popular one, and then it was the story of my what, and that was quite interesting. And then we have a tie with my day, and this just happened, and this went just about the way I thought it would. So not surprised that what is going on was the biggest one. I predicted that. That is something that was kind of a, not saying easy, but a good, convenient way to do this, because this wasn't very easy, to be honest. And as I said, this wasn't really that easy because, storytelling is not easy with images. If we can do that, then our images are a lot better. But the whole essence of storytelling is that you need to give something like from inner part of yourself, just like getting a little bit vulnerable anyways, and give something of you to the viewer. And that's the hardest part to do. So storytelling with images is not very easy. And let's look at the first image here. We have a very interesting, and well, I'll tell a bit more after I've said what it is. This is from Isabel Fargo, and it's for what's going on, and improvised photo shoot during an improvised dance. And yes, this is a really interesting way of separating the two areas of the image. To be honest, I'm not sure if I like the image. What I like is the, what do you call, the idea of splitting these two. And what I really like Well, wait a minute. Yeah, good point. This is I'm a bit rusty today, I guess. Well, let's yeah, Isabella Fargo is this photographer who made this image. Now it's online. Sorry about that. And yeah, a very interesting way of splitting the image into two. Not really sure if I really like this image. It's an interesting. It doesn't mean that if I'm not really into this type of thing that it's a bad image. By no means, no. And what I like about this is that it's kind of divided. The girls are in color and the guys are in black and white. Even though I think there is one girl dancing in the back of the guy that with the cap is in front, but not really sure if it is. But yeah, an interesting idea of splitting these two. And I don't know. Please, some comments so that what do you think about this image? Because this is slightly different. Any comments? Any ideas? Yeah, in a way, it's it looks like it is like two photos, but is it? It looks like one photo. I'm not totally sure how it is, but I think I totally agree that it is very creative. And Sebastiano is saying that interesting. It looks like two photos, and yeah, I totally agree that an image like this is something that you really can look at a long time. And if you do that, or an image does that to you, then yes, it must be a good image. Let me turn off the Bluetooth on my other device so that the microphone doesn't go to other devices. Yeah. Any other comments? Yeah, this is a good point. Steve Page says that it's a great concept. Love the vintage slash film look. Yeah, there is some kind of a cinematic look in this, and I have hard time to explain. I kind of don't like it, but then on the other hand, I do like it. And yeah, this is true. What Bill says, that interesting idea certainly catches my eye. Yeah, and as we see, there are already 4 or 5 comments about this image, which means that it resonates with the viewer, and that's usually a sign of a good image. So this type of image, I really appreciate that people send that are you can't really say if it's good or bad. You know, it's just it's marvelous in that sense. Well done, Isabel. And then we have Sue Townsend, and this is what's going on. I had seen some oyster catchers the week before and head down to the marina to get some close-ups. But the wind was up, and instead of birds, there were kite surfers enjoying the strong winds. It was a wild day, and I thought this image showed that with 3 kites and 1 surfer. Oh yeah, it is. It's an interesting sport to look at. And now I see that the focus isn't working perfectly, but no problem. You didn't see that because my face is not in the image. Maybe I will add my face there so it's more interesting to look at the image when you see what I say. Yes, the problem with these images is that usually the color of the water is doesn't look really that good, but that's the way it is. It doesn't matter. It most likely blue water, but it turns a little brownish on this, and it looks a bit dirty, and that's kind of a thing that you might want to fix in post to try to add some blue in the water, but that's always the problem when photographing water, because it's really hard to get it look like blue. And yeah, the composition perfect. How much there is a story? Yeah, there is a backstory when you go out there and do something else and then you find something else. And yes, an interesting picture with 3 kites and 1 surfer. In that sense, yes, it is quite nice and looks good. And what another thing that you could have done here is to boost up the sky slightly. It is a bit too dull, maybe. Just adding some contrast to the clouds could have made it better. Yes, someone is saying that it's water is maybe shallow. Seems like it's the sand bottom and deep further out. Could be that. Yeah, you're right. There is some bluish tint when you go further away, and this could be very shallow water. We don't know. That could be the reason why the water looks like that. But yeah, I like the composition, and there's a lot of speed. You can see the speed from here. You have these waves behind the surfer, and yeah, those three. Well, they all different directions make it really interesting. Yeah, and good colors, and like they always have on those. But yes, like I said, the color of the water is a bit off, even though, like William said, it could be just shallow water. And let's go to the next one. And this is Tony Alford. My day in Dorset, UK. An artist on Pool Quay gave permission for a series of photos, and I selected this one that captured the essence of the harbor, busy with holidaymakers and industry. Yeah, what I could say about this image is that it's a good catch, and always if you photograph something like this and someone is painting, always ask a permission, because you don't want to sneak a picture of a unfinished piece of art. So that's why I think it's a good thing that you ask the permission to make this image. What I would have done is to get a little bit closer, and so that I would crop out the bicycle or the motorcycle, because it kind of is a slightly distracting element. In a way, it doesn't really belong in the photo. In what I think, even though the color is perfect, the bluish color is kind of nice when it's the same color as the whole, or the vibe of the image is blue, except the painter, who has brown coat, which is nice. There's some color difference. Maybe cropping slightly closer would. Oh yes, that's also true. This one is also true. What William said, or full bike. That's true. That could also be something that you could have done, is to go a bit further away. But we don't know how it would have looked. But I would go a bit closer with this. I think the idea is very good, that you did that, and an interesting drawing too. That what's it's because the place doesn't look that interesting, but maybe it's a good place to practice, to make some drawings from that area. Certainly a good kind of like a photo opportunity here. Maybe just crop a little bit and see how it looks. Yeah, and let's do the next one. This is from William Hansen, and was on a boat from one island to another for a photo trip. This random couple got into my frame, and I know that William is not photograph people that much. I don't think I've ever seen before. Maybe you posted a few in the Facebook group, but I don't recall. And I think this is a good thing. I think the people made the image, and you probably know it yourself too, because this is a stunning image. I really like this. I really like this. I'm not sure about the black and white. I don't know how this could have been in colors, because most likely there are some interesting colors in there. Not sure, but since you're here, William, you could explain why you choose to make it black and white. It's totally fine like this, but I would, you know, like to see this in color, because the blue sea, and I don't know what the mountains, maybe green or brownish tones, and then you have the sky. There's no blue sky because there are a lot of clouds. So maybe that's why it's better like this in black and white. But I just love the couple in the front. It's kind of, it totally makes the image. And I'm glad that you didn't focus on them, but you focused on the back, so it makes it a bit odd. But yeah, and yeah, okay. Let's see let's bring this. kind of dull day, so the green was hard to get bright. Okay, yeah, there is a reason. So good. Yeah, yeah, cloudy sky helps. I think there's range right there. Yes, true. Yeah, those are very nice looking clouds, and usually it's a blue sky. It's nice, but then when you have really good texture in the clouds and lots of different colors and all that, and that is usually makes the image a lot more interesting. And yeah, well done. I'm glad that you photographed some people, William. Then we have Bruno Wildy and what's going on. Well, that we can see. So, in storytelling wise, I don't think this image is that great, but as an image of fireworks, I think it works really well. And I was able to capture these fireworks early July at the Zurich, which takes place every 3 years in Zurich by the lake. For 3 days, more than 2 million people attended the biggest party in Switzerland. To capture these fireworks, the live composite became very handy. And I think this image is deserves the exposure, and that this was 10 photographs at half a second. So half a second was set in live composite, and then it was made with 12 to 40 millimeter lens at 31 millimeters at f11. So I think that's when we talk about live composite, I think it's good to say the exposure time because otherwise I don't think it's that important. But on this particular image, I think it's something that should be said. And yeah, with live composite, it's good where you see how the image progresses so that you have the or you are possible to stop the exposure at the right time when you see that the image is ready. So that's why I think it's by far the best way to photograph fireworks. And if you haven't ever tried live composite, you should. I will put some links in the description of this video to few of the live composite videos that were made a few years ago. So if you're not familiar with the technique, you might want to watch those because these type of images that Bill sent us, I mean Bruno sent us is really spectacular looking. But as I said, storytelling wise, not so much. And then we have an image from Anne Kasurinen from Kuopio, Finland. We've seen her images before. Now she did not make a selfie this time with some really interesting and strange looking, good way. And let's see what she says about the image. The image it was photographed for what's going on. And noticed this old burnt down house while on my bike riding one evening and went closer to see and take photos. Since there were some other buildings intact still left in the yard, it made me sight a bit mysterious. What happened was the fire, and what happened was the fire an accident or done on purpose? Crime. Did someone live there where it happens, and as other buildings were still in use, it seems? And why hasn't it been pulled down but left there after burning? Yeah, these are always kind of like interesting stories, like what has happened, and hopefully nobody got hurt. That's usually the thing on these ones that you hope. No idea why would they let it there, because that chimney looks a bit dangerous. Usually after a fire, the chimney still stands, but it's usually very fragile because of the extensive heat, even though they are meant, or they are kind of made for big heat, but still when you have a lot of flames around it, it's a lot hotter than just a fire in your fireplace because there's so much more flames. But then you said that there are some buildings that people are still living. Maybe you could have gotten those also into the photograph. That could have made it even more questions about the image, even though this is a very good image, very nice composition, and I like the black and white and the style on this one. Even though not sure what time of day it was. One evening, so it was later in the evening. So maybe the sky would have been too dark or too black with color. But yeah, works well with the story. Let's go to the next one. Well, I'm not on the way there, and this is Ari Kalliola from My Day. Says, greetings from Tampere, Finland. My love and hate machine, the lawnmower. Whole day working in the backyard and garden. Yeah, but glad that you got to photograph a little bit. Yeah, not too much of a garden worker myself. I don't really fancy that. I like to live in the city and so that there's no garden to take care of. But yeah, it can be some relaxing thing to do. But I guess you have a kind of like a love hate relationship with that. You kind of like it, but you don't. As an image, really interesting. You don't really see or understand first when you see the image what it is, and that makes it kind of interesting. And then you realize quite fast what it is. And I think you made a good angle with this image. I think went really low on the ground and took a little different perspective. In that sense, I really like the image and the color contrast with the blue and the green. It works perfectly. Just another way of looking at things is going really low and see how the world looks from that angle. That's also something because we tend to photograph too much from our eye level. It's the easy way and a bit lazy way. So, but if you go really low on the ground and when you have the articulating screen, it's easy to make the composition too and see that everything is dark, everything is sharp, and then also high up is also another different kind of like a way of looking at things. So I always try to think that is this my eye level the best possible way to photograph or the place this well it depends on of course on the image. And then we have a next image. This is from Margaret Wong and it's from My Day. On Mondays, I collect my grandson from school and entertain until bedtime. Here he's playing after school two-a-side soccer. I really like how the kids were highlighted by the sun as they race down the field and the sun flares in camera. Three of the kids are very hardly dressed in shorts and nice red t-shirts, which really stand out on this cold winter's day. The image is cropped. I only had my 80-25mm lens with me and would have been better to take with a telephoto rather than a wide angle. Yeah, cropping, no problem. I think the image that you show is more important. It doesn't matter if you crop. And sometimes people don't take the image if they think they have a wrong lens. There are two ways of kind of like making or resolving the problem with the wrong lens. First one is try to find a new perspective. Think how you can photograph this with the wrong lens, or then just crop it. That's another good way. I crop quite a bit of my images, and if you need to crop really a lot, there are always ways to upscale the images nowadays. The upscaling AI or the algorithms are really good, so you can easily crop 4 times from. Let's say that you have a 20 megapixel camera and you need to crop it down to 5 megapixels. It's easy to crop it or upscale it back. The quality is stunning. You can't tell the difference, so it doesn't really matter. So don't be afraid to crop. And yeah, the composition I like here. You have, like you said, like or Margaret said that there are like 3 with these red shirts and black shorts, and then you have this guy with the hoodie on and black. It's kind of like out of place, and you start wondering that why is that particular player dressed like that? And they seem to have fun playing soccer after school. And yes, the flares I think are important part of this. Like she said, don't be afraid of flares sometimes in an image. Of course, if they are unintended, then they might ruin an image. But in many cases, they just add image. Yeah, there's one comment that's coming up, and yeah, like Bill said, the black hoodie adds a lot to the shot. It does, yeah, because you immediately start asking that why is he there? Is he just someone who was watching and then all of a sudden started to run around and wants to play, or does he want to steal the ball, or what's going on? And I think it's in that sense it's an interesting shot, and these type of things you can't really control if there is someone like dressed totally differently. It's just pure luck, and then you just have to freeze the moment, like they said. But yeah, I like this image. Interesting photograph. Let's see. Next, we have image from Bill Landon. Story of my grandson. After a long day of playing, he's tired. He winds down by watching favorite video. Yeah, you can't really tell that he's watching a video here. You more or less looks like he's really bored or mad about something, that he doesn't get the ice cream that he wanted or something like that. So this kind of like tells a different story to me than what Bill said here. But all in all, it's a great moment and great catch. And these type of images are really, really valuable in the future. And these are the images that we all also should take of our kids and grandkids and loved ones, because usually we used to photograph only birthday parties and when we're having fun. But when a bit tired or having a bad day, or doing a bit crying, and all those memories, those should be also kind of like preserved and saved by taking photographs of them. I think this is a very cute image, and I like the way he has the hat. It's a cool. It's an adorable image, and now that we know that he's looking some videos, maybe from a cell phone or something, but we don't know when we see the image. Yeah. Let's go to the next one. Yeah. Before we go to the next ones, a few words about upcoming live streams. Next Monday I will have a Q&A live stream. So there's links in the description, so you can send me some questions about the photography and gear. And as I said, there's a link in the description. So if you have any questions or any things that you want me to discuss about or comment or anything, just leave me a comment in that form that you can find, or the link that you can find in the description, so that I can answer your questions. And of course, I will pick up some questions from my videos and from my Facebook group. So there are a lot of ways to get. But if you want to be certain that you get the answer, then use that link in the description. And then also, if you're interested in personal coaching, I offer that too. So one-on-one sessions. And there's also a link in the description for that. And what that is all about is that I go through your images and we talk about that, and I try to help you on your way becoming a better photographer, and comment your images, because what I think is getting critique, also learning to take critique, and is really important. So and that is something that I'm really happy about, that in my community and in this Facebook group, and people are really good in taking the critique and commenting back, and there were some discussions about different things that has happened in the photograph, that there was particularly one that I will talk in my future videos, how that is when you start defending your own image when I suggest something. I really like that, because that is the path towards getting better. And you see some things that I say, and you still kind of like describe and comment why you still like the way you took the image. And I think that is a huge thing in getting to be better. Is to kind of like give me a counter comment or argument why I might be wrong. That's really something that will make you better when you start thinking that. That also tells that you have a lot of self confidence, which is a good thing. But let's move on to the next image. And this is from Yossi Ran, the story of my what? The story of my democracy protest. We are waving flags and singing our protest in streets and squares, days and nights for more than 6 months. Some of us play songs on musical instruments. In this picture, I want to express the hope and belief that we protect human rights and equality. Yeah, a strong message on that, and do like this image a lot. It's strong. You got the flags, and then you have the people, and you have the color contrast, and you have some movement, some motion blur on this image, and it's really tight composition. So everybody is so packed, and it really gives the impression of a huge crowd, which it probably was. Yeah, and you can kind of like feel and hear the music too. So I think this is very strong image about the protest. And let's go to the next one. This we have a triptych here, which first I was looking at like is this one image. It's kind of blended in a way so that you could first look at what's going on. There you have three couples up here and 3 kids, but no. And this one is from Raymond Hudson. This is a composite of a young woman at the beach telling a story in a very animated fashion. So what is the story? We will never know. I was pleased with these 3 images. I think they work well together. Probably merging could be done better than I have managed. Yeah, if you really wanted to merge them together, yes, then it could have been done better if you wanted this to be just one image with three people. But then always be careful when you're photographing kids or women on the beach. There, some people might think that you have some bad intentions. But about the image, and I think it is an interesting, and we could tell a lot of different stories. You could put some, with the talking bubbles there, and then you could write a kind of like a comic strip of three pictures. So I don't know what she's saying. Something's over there, probably. She's saying that how come, and then it's over there. I think it's a good approach to this storytelling, because we could see so many different stories, and you really need to boost your imagination to get all that stories. And like Raymond said, we don't know what the story was. It would be interesting to hear the real story. So what do you think about this type of image? This is the second kind of like a image that's split from several images, or made a kind of like a triptych type image. What do you think about this type of things? Oh, whoa, what's happening here now? Richard Priestley likes it. Impressive set of 3 varying images in a photo triptych. Yeah, I agree. Sorry about that. There was something wrong with my mouse finger when I was clicking the comments on my streaming software. Okay, let's continue. This is Janne Lehto. The story of my what? This is the story of my life. I'm standing in my favorite place in the whole world, on the little terrace outside our beach, Sauna. I'm doing my favorite hobby, which is taking photos. Reflection selfies is one of them, one of the themes of photograph. You can't see me clearly from the reflection. I'm quite an introvert. I'm usually comfortable in my own company. Those who know me will see in the picture other things that are important to me. Sauna and rain. I look like I'm trying to see better something in front of me. I'm looking forward what life has to offer me. Yeah, strong story, strong image. And yes, there are so many things about Finland in this image. Being an introvert, a sauna, photographing like this that you don't really see who I am. It's very Finnish. Only things that are not Finnish that the image is really colorful, and that kind of gives some hope too. When he says, "I'm looking forward to what life has to offer me," and I hope the colorful things are good things for you. It's marvelous image, and the sharpness is on the water, on the window, and then everything else is blurred. And then I totally like the composition that you made, so that the you can see the wooden panel of the sauna right in kind of like in your face and in your body, and almost like you have a shirt on. The towels, and I assume that the towels are hanging in the wall, and then you have it's like kind of like a shirt with the wood, and then the face is covered with the wood, and you don't even see the camera, and but you can see that you're taking the photograph like this. Yeah, very interesting image, and this is what I was saying, that you have to give something about yourself. You have to kind of like give something to the viewer to think about you. So that's it's not easy, and you need to kind of like open your mind and open your soul to others if you want to do the images like this. Very strong image in my opinion. Yeah, I totally agree with rangefinders. Nice abstract image and story. Yeah. And also what I like about it, it is very Finnish. And let's continue. And then we have a totally different type of image from Sebastiano Piglio. Three women at night walking in unison in evening dresses. Where do they go, or where they are coming from? Surely they will have a great evening. Yeah, this is a great image, and again, a nice silhouette and a lot of going on. You have a lot of feet going on here, and then what I like about this guy in the back looks like he's walking very carefully, even though probably not. The kind of like going really carefully, so nobody noticed him, and maybe he didn't want to be seen by the ladies or wanted to be. So it's kind of reverse the thing, because usually it is, a bunch of guys maybe will be looking at a girl walking by, and maybe the girl might be feeling a bit intimidated if they're yelling at something, behaving like boys and men, unfortunately. So this kind of turns it around in a way. So that's why I find this image really fascinating. And even though it's kind of like a bit messy, and you don't really uh, see how many women there are. There are probably three, because you got three legs going, forward, and then but then there's a bunch of mess right there, and of course, what makes it good is the light here. That without the light, and it's right in the middle, and then it's kind of like vignetting. But this is one of the best images on this. I think this is a great story. I love this type of images. And then an image that made me made me laugh, because I like the way that you're pointing at the frog, and the frog is frozen, and like the bad frog. Maybe I don't know. Maybe it did something bad. But let's see what Lindsay Whelan said. My son wanted a pet frog. The frog was so patient, waiting, and then so quick. Yeah, that's a mysterious story too. But yeah, this is kind of hilarious. Even though the hand is quite bright and big, but still, the focus point is on the frog, and we see the frog first for some reason, because usually we see the brighter part of the image first and then everything else. But for somehow, the frog is in charge, or the main character on this one. I just like this type of images, make me smile. Good one. And let's see, then we have Ian Jefferson. Self-driving cars are a thing in San Francisco. As I walked home, this car with nobody on board cruised past. People either love them or hate them. And this again, as a good story and images of these kind of like new cars that drive by themselves and try to adapt in the traffic, and that's probably the future of driving, that we can sit on the back and there's no one driving, but the car drives by itself on the streets. And I think I wouldn't mind that, because I use car quite a bit. Not a big fan of driving itself, but anyways, as a photograph, yeah, it could have been better. But I like the story on this one. This is, even though that might be motion blur on the car, but it looks slightly out of focus, and so that the focus is most likely on the back. So that's why as a photograph, well, yeah, it could be better, like someone says here, that would prefer seeing the entire car. Yeah, I totally agree. If you happen to see these cars more there, just take some more photographs and see what comes out. Let's go to the next one. And this one is Richard Priestley. This just happened on my usual Friday walk recently along the local canal and then the woods. I saw someone with an animal on a long lead, encouraging it to come down from the small hill. This, much to my surprise, was a cat on the lead instead of a usual dog. I have seen a ferret on the lead, but never a cat, which turned out to be a Bengal cat with very distinctive color and clearly a rather exotic breed. So happens that's resulted from this just happening episode. Yeah, about cats. Yeah, Bengals, they are really cool looking cats, and they are cool. They have this very unique look, and what I've heard, that they are pretty fierce and they are hard to kind of like adapt living with people, so they are a bit on the wild side. What I like about this image is the composition starting is, what is the cat looking at? There's something outside the frame, so we're very interested in. And then it's kind of the composition. Oh, excuse me, I'll mute myself for a little while. Oh, right, now we better. Don't want to cough into the microphone. And yeah, what is the cat looking at? There must be something in the lower right corner, or just right out the frame. And I think it's a good thing to leave it out of frame, because then it makes it more mysterious, and we need to, ask some questions and start wondering what's there. And then another thing is the texture, or all the things, all the leaves and all the grass on the ground, and then the cat. It has kind of like the same pattern on both, even though it's not, but it resembles the same pattern. And then the cat comes out of the background because the color is lighter. So that's a good one. And then also you have the leash, but you don't see who it is. I like this image. It's a strong image, and I like the story too. That it's kind of like a surprise that you see big leash, a long leash, and then it's a cat, not a dog. I think that's a good one. Well done. And then we have Thomas Gracie. This just happened. I was in the streets of Munich taking pictures when the police stopped a guy and a girl on a nice Vespa. They had driven through a pedestrian area and had to pay 250 euros penalty. The driving guy was so frustrated, while his girlfriend couldn't stop laughing at him, and I was able to get a picture of this. What just happened? I think it's a good story, and I don't know why the girl is laughing, because if they're going out, you know, maybe they can get as nice dinner or something. But yeah, it is. It's a hilarious image, and I totally like the story. And also, what I like about it is the uh, composition that you have something here, and it's not the photographer itself. No, no, maybe not. There's someone else actually. Now I didn't see this before, but it looks like a hand and a jacket, and that there's a belt and pants over there. And yeah, I don't know. You know, not much to say about it. It's hilarious and great image. Great image. Yeah. What do you think? Yeah, I think this is for this image. Love this. What a moment. Yeah, it is. And then we have this comment from Richard Beasley. Great facial expression in the story. Totally. That makes the image. That makes the image. I don't know what this image could have been if you could even closer, or then just a little bit backwards to see the part of the Vespa, because Vespas are very photogenic motorcycles, or you don't call them motorcycles, but any Vespas. We call them Vespas here. Yeah, I love these action shots that you catch a good moment with your camera. These are great images. And then this was interesting also. Maybe, yeah, this was Wilford Abernathy. Although I do not claim to this to be the best image I've ever taken. I don't. I do think that it's answered the question very well concerning the story of the neighborhood. Many new buildings are being constructed on former natural areas. I saw this interesting lady walking up on a walkside. Wait a minute. Now there's uh, no. No, I'm totally lost here. So wait a minute. Sorry. This is Bill Beasley. Sorry. What's going on? Main Street of a nearby small town. The building has been repurposed, but for what? Sorry about my mix, because there's another image that is also a building coming up, and I messed up my ring. Sorry, very sorry about that. Yes, I like the composition, and I like the so that the perspective is spot on. It's perfect, and then also I like that there is the red building, or the red brick building on the right, so that kind of like breaks the total symmetry, and also the pole in front of it. But what are these lunar rituals? Don't know. This is something that we should probably look in the World Wide Web and see what's there about this. But it's a good catch. Good catch. The image, really, really well done. Yeah, and this was uh, Bill Beasley. Sorry about the mix up first. And then we have Brad Warrior. What's going on? This cheeky capture was taken at lunch in a cafe by pressing the shutter button on my camera as it was sitting on the table after I heard a little bit of complaining from the young girl. Yeah, this it's a good moment. The looks like the parents don't care. Maybe, you know, been, in a bad mood all day, and they just fed up. They don't care. Could look at the I guess the mother and the brother are just looking at something on the phone, and he doesn't care, and maybe he didn't get the ice cream or something. I don't know. Maybe they too long to get the food. I think this is a marvelous shot, and yeah, I agree with Bill that it's a great camera angle. Yeah, it is. That's always have your camera ready to to catch shots like this, and we always have to remember that. Be careful when photographing like this, and what you photograph and what you show, because when you have kids, it's always a bit on the gray side. But it's a public place, and you don't really show them in a bad manner. They're just having lunch, and the kids behaving normally. It's nothing nothing be ashamed of with if someone is a bit on a bad mood and complaining about something. But I think this raises a lot of questions. You really start, wondering that because this girl is a lot closer to the camera. It could be totally from a different family. Maybe it's not even their kid. Maybe her parents are on the other side, and she's kind of like turned her back on them because she's upset about something. Don't know. That's the beauty of a photograph like this. I think I could consider this to be on the classical side of street photography also. So this could well be in that category too. Let's see what the next one. Now we have the other odd building thing. This is Wilford Abernathy. The story of my what. Although I do not claim this to be the best image I've ever taken, I do think that he's answered the questions very well concerning the story of my neighborhood. Many new buildings have been constructed on former natural areas. I saw this interesting lady walking alone up the sidewalk. I waited for her to get into the right location before taking the photo. To me, it's a story of the old walking away while the new takes its place. Yeah, that's a good story and good analogy and good contrast. I totally agree. Like, and she has a backpack, like she's packed the whole stuff that she has, and she's leaving because she doesn't like the new buildings on this area. I totally agree that, and I like the color contrast too that you have yellowish building, green grass, and then some purple colors on her. I enjoy that. And then also a small thing that you have the hat, and then you have kind of like a hat on the building too, in a way. It's it's a good. I like the story. I think there was a good idea of the story, and also the fact that you waited for her to be on the right spot. That there's more room here, what she has left behind, and then kind of too close to the other edge, which is usually not the way to do it. But that makes the contrast when you're doing this. It's a lot stronger image like this. And then we have K Canon. What's going on? This is a disused and closed in 1932. Well, it's been closed for a long, long time. It used to went its way through a thick subtropical rainforest. Think I used a torch for extra lighting. It also houses a colony of micro bats, and people ride their push bikes and horses as well. Well, that's an interesting place. Storytelling wise, yeah, maybe, I don't know. Maybe the interesting thing is that it was closed in 1932, so that's almost 100 years ago, 90 years ago, 90 years ago. So interesting. Maybe, I don't know, the exposure is a little bit on the bright side. I would probably make it a bit darker to make it more gloomy. So this is maybe a bit too bright for an image like this, but where you really see that it is a dark place, or you would feel that it's a dark place. But yeah, I think it's certainly a place where you should go back and photograph, because this is an interesting place, and I'm really fascinated how long this has been closed and it's still there, and it looks to be in quite good shape too. And then there is the last image, and what I'm going to do in my future live stream where I go feedback, I will pick the best photograph, the photo of the month. And this is not something that you should, in a way, if you start thinking about that, I'm going to take that photo, you will fail. It will come if it comes. But if you think that this is going to be, or you're going after the best photo or the photo of the month, it won't happen. I guarantee. And I'm also against, not against, but I'm not a big fan of competing with photographs. So it's not a competition. It's all these themes and assignments are a competition where you compete with yourself. You want to take a better photograph September than you did in August. So that's kind of like your competition. You're not competing with each other. But this one is the photo of the month from Steve Page. And the thing is, just could not resist taking this photo. And I think this photograph is stunning. I saw this in the Facebook group and commented about it. And what it reminds me of is one particular photograph of Gary Winogrand, which is World Fair 1964 in New York City. But what about this image, about the story? There are so many stories in this image. First, there is the composition. If we start with that, then we go back to the story. I like the way that they are sitting, and then there's one girl standing, which kind of like breaks the pattern. And then you have this, which first when I saw this as a small image in Facebook, I thought that she was looking at her and feeling a bit, why can't I be her or look like her, and why can't I wear clothes like she does, or something like that. But then I realized that she's actually having a phone and she's thinking about something. I don't think she even sees her, but it doesn't matter. And then you have her, like I said, and then she's looking at a phone. She's talking to her phone, and I don't know what she's doing. Maybe looking at phone too. They have a phone, and they are talking about something. And then she looking at the camera. And then you have these reflections of these people in this cafeteria. This is just, blows my mind how good this image is. I think it's a stunning image. So great. There's so many things going on. It's still not too busy, because sometimes if we have so many people doing different things, the image is too busy. But this has, and I think it's all about, there's one girl standing, and also that she has the blonde hair, which is different from the others. And I think, and also the position and everything, it just works like it is. Maybe if something to be done to this image, or I would maybe darken this window a bit. These faces are something that kind of like pops up out too much, grabs some of the attention from these people in the front. Maybe I would slightly darken this part. Yeah, people, you also like this image. Congrats, Steve. Your image been chosen the image of the month. Yeah, but this image is also in the Facebook group. I remember from that image from there. Yeah, this was this time's live stream, and let's see if I still have some more. I should have. No, I didn't. Let me put that image there. So it's just a reminder that I will have an Q&A live stream next Monday, the 21st of August, at the same time as this. I always try to have it this time because it's 9 p.m. here in Finland, so it's a good time. Usually nothing else to do on Mondays at 9 p.m., so it's a good time to have a live stream, and I hope it's a good time for you too. And remember that you can always watch these later too if you miss any of them. But I will have a link in the description. It's already there. So if you have any questions about photography, about gear, or any comments about the content, and I will pick some also from the comments of the videos and from the Facebook group if there are any questions, so we could have a chat, and also always if someone asks something, you can pitch in and say and tell your experience or your answer if it's something that you feel that you have knowledge about, which no doubt you do have. But hey, thanks so much for this live stream and being there and sending the images. And tomorrow I will open up the form again for this month's theme, which is about street photography. And I've already seen some great images, and some of the images on this live stream could have been also part of that. But please take a new image this month and send that. But hey, thanks for watching, and bye for now.